Stop scrolling, because this might be the message that changes everything. Every morning before you check your phone, before you look at the chaos of the world, there's one small act that can shift your entire day. Make your bed. You might think it's just a chore, but I'm here to tell you, it's a symbol of order in a world full of noise, a reminder that greatness begins with small, consistent actions. Because if you can't control the small, you'll never master the big. Every major transformation in life begins with something small, a single act that declares, I'm in control. When you start your day by making your bed, you're not just straightening sheets, you're creating momentum. That first victory builds psychological energy, a spark that says you're capable of taking charge. It's not about the bed, it's about identity. Every small win tells your brain, I'm the kind of person who follows through. You train your mind to associate completion with pride, effort with empowerment. The moment you make your bed, you've taken your first stand against chaos. You've already succeeded before the world even tests you. And success loves momentum. Once you start stacking small victories, you create a flow of confidence and discipline that spills into every area of your life. You walk taller, you think clearer, and suddenly those big goals don't look so impossible. Every mountain is climbed one step at a time, and your first step begins right here with something simple. When you understand that small wins matter, you realize discipline is not a punishment. It's the ultimate freedom. Discipline gives you control over your time, your energy, and your emotions. When you make your bed, even when you don't feel like it, you're sending a signal to your subconscious mind that your emotions do not run the show. You do. Most people wait for motivation before taking action, but champions know that motivation is the result of action. The act itself builds power. It's not the big things that break you, it's the little things you neglect. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. It's what separates dreamers from doers. Every act of discipline rewires your identity. You stop being a person who tries and become someone who decides. When you live with discipline, you live with certainty. You no longer drift, you direct. And when you direct your life, you discover true freedom, because nothing controls a person who's mastered self-control. Every morning you face a simple decision: hit snooze or rise with purpose. That choice defines your day, and over time it defines your life. Most people lose before the day even starts because they let comfort dictate their actions. But comfort is a silent killer of dreams. When you rise early, when you move before the world wakes up, you're declaring that your goals matter more than your excuses. You're choosing power over passivity. You're programming your brain to respond to challenge, not retreat from it. The first act of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin with control, you end with momentum. If you begin with hesitation, you end with regret. That's why successful people guard their mornings. It's sacred ground, the birthplace of clarity and confidence. Don't wait for the world to push you. Start by pushing yourself. Your morning discipline becomes your identity. Every day you rise with intention. You build proof that you're capable of more. Success doesn't happen because of luck. It happens because of habits. Every repeated behavior rewires your nervous system. The more consistent you are, the stronger the pattern becomes. If you commit to small daily actions, you condition yourself to expect progress. Momentum is not magic, it's repetition. When you consistently choose progress over procrastination, you create a rhythm that fuels growth. People often chase motivation, but motivation fades. What stays is pattern, and pattern builds power. If you want to change your life, stop waiting for the perfect plan and start repeating small intentional actions. The mind loves structure, it thrives on predictability. When your habits align with your purpose, success becomes automatic. You no longer struggle to stay motivated. You've trained yourself to move forward no matter what. And that's where real freedom begins. When discipline becomes instinct and effort becomes effortless. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. That's the real difference between those who grow and those who crumble. Life will test you, not once, but constantly. Challenges don't come to destroy you, they come to reveal you. Every setback is feedback. Every pain is a signal. When something goes wrong, it's not the universe punishing you, it's training you. The question isn't, why me? It's, What is this teaching me? The people who rise above are not the ones who avoid pain, but the ones who learn from it. The moment you stop labeling struggle as failure and start calling it preparation, your life changes. You begin to see patterns, not problems. You recognize that every obstacle contains the seed of your next breakthrough. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from pressure, from resistance. When you shift your focus from control to creation, you reclaim your power. You stop reacting and start responding. And that's how resilience is built. One choice at a time, one moment of courage after another. Most people live trapped in fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. But fear is just imagination turned against you. It's energy waiting to be redirected. When you face fear head on, it loses power. When you act in spite of fear, it becomes fuel. Every time you take a step through uncertainty, you train your nervous system to trust action over hesitation. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build through experience. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's deciding something matters more than your comfort. You don't wait until fear disappears. You move while your hands shake and your voice trembles. That's how warriors are made, by doing what others won't. When you take control of your fear, you unlock your freedom. Because the truth is everything you want, every goal, every dream, lives just beyond that invisible wall of fear. Break through it once, and you'll never see life the same again. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. You can have the biggest dreams in the world, but without consistency, they remain fantasies. Every day, life will give you a choice to do what's easy or to do what's necessary. Most people choose comfort, and that's why they stay stuck. Success isn't about massive leaps. It's about small, deliberate steps taken every single day. The real power lies in doing what you said you would do, long after the excitement has faded. Discipline isn't punishment, it's self-respect. It's telling yourself, I am worth showing up for. When you master discipline, you no longer need motivation because you've built momentum. You start to trust yourself, and that trust compounds into confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you rewrite the story of who you are. You stop being a victim of excuses and become the architect of results. The truth is, you'll never rise to the level of your goals. You'll fall to the level of your habits. So build habits that serve your vision, not your emotions. That's how champions are made. Not through talent, but through relentless consistency. And then there's gratitude, the fuel that keeps you grounded when life gets tough. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means choosing to see meaning within it. When you focus only on what's missing, you live in scarcity. When you focus on what's present, you live in power. Gratitude shifts your energy, your mindset, your biology. It reminds you that even in struggle, you're blessed with lessons, with strength, with breath. The secret to joy isn't having more, it's appreciating more. The moment you start counting your blessings instead of your problems, your life begins to expand. What you appreciate appreciates. When you practice gratitude, you train your mind to find light even in darkness. It's not about pretending everything's perfect. It's about recognizing that even the imperfect moments are shaping you into something extraordinary. Gratitude turns adversity into growth, pain into wisdom, and ordinary days into miracles. Pain is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Most people spend their lives avoiding pain, numbing it, running from it, but here's the truth. Growth only happens through discomfort. You can't build strength without resistance. You can't build courage without fear. And you can't build mastery without failure. Every challenge you face is a test, not to break you, but to reveal what you're truly made of. Life isn't meant to be painless, it's meant to be meaningful. Pain gives depth to your purpose. It builds emotional muscle. It teaches you empathy and resilience. You see, the difference between people who grow and those who stay stuck is how they interpret pain. Some see it as punishment, others see it as progress. The moment you decide that your pain has a purpose, it transforms into power. Every setback becomes a setup for strength. Every wound becomes a window to wisdom. When you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That's when you evolve. Don't wish for an easy life. Wish for the strength to handle a hard one. Because comfort never made anyone extraordinary. And then there's the power of environment, the people, energy, and habits that shape who you become. You can't grow in toxic soil. If you surround yourself with negativity, fear, and small-mindedness, don't be surprised when your dreams start to wither. You become a reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So ask yourself, do they challenge you or do they chain you? Do they lift you higher or drag you lower? Greatness requires alignment. You need an environment that breathes possibility, accountability, and growth. Surround yourself with those who speak truth, not comfort, who remind you of your potential when you forget it. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Every influence, every voice, every environment is either feeding your fire or extinguishing it. Choose wisely. A supportive environment turns struggle into fuel, dreams into plans, and potential into reality. Your environment is your mirror. Make sure it reflects the person you want to become. You are not what happens to you. You are what you choose to do about it. Life is never about avoiding chaos. It's about mastering your response to it. Every day, you have 2 choices: to let life happen to you or to make life happen for you. The truth is, most people wait. They wait for the right timing, the right support, the right opportunity. But waiting is another form of fear. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You need commitment. Every obstacle, every delay, every disappointment carries a seed of strength if you choose to look for it. The world doesn't owe you clarity. You create clarity through action. Every time you decide to move forward, no matter how uncertain, you take back your power. You stop being a victim and become the author of your destiny. Life doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to boldness. The people who rise are not those with no fear, but those who act despite it. You can't control everything that happens, but you can always control how you interpret it. And that interpretation will either imprison you or empower you. You are stronger than your circumstances. And when you finally realize that, when you stop waiting for someone else to save you, that's when real transformation begins. And when you rise, remember this: greatness is never about arriving, it's about giving. True fulfillment doesn't come from achievement alone, it comes from contribution. You weren't born just to exist, you were born to make an impact. Every lesson you've learned, every struggle you've conquered is meant to serve someone else. Success without service is empty. The greatest joy you will ever experience is knowing that your pain became someone else's hope. Your breakthrough became someone else's roadmap. When you shift from what can I get to what can I give, your life expands. Contribution connects you to something bigger than yourself. A legacy, a purpose, a meaning that outlasts your name. Because at the end of the day, the measure of your life won't be what you had, but who you lifted, who you loved, and who you helped become more. That's how you live beyond yourself. That's how you make every second count, by turning your journey into a gift for others. Every day is a new chance to lead yourself. The world doesn't change when you talk about it. It changes when you do something about it. So tomorrow morning, before you chase your dreams, before you check the noise, start with one simple act of greatness. Make your bed and make your life unstoppable.